was actually number 4, and we are definitely having a ball right here on Church O'Clock Show. This is actually the best. The best part of this show. This is the book lab. We have an amazing guest in studio. I feel like I'm talking to a mom. Yes, she is actually a mother, Mary Nduta. Yes, an alumni of Presbyterian Church of East Africa University. And we are so glad to have you in studio. You have a long story. I read your book and it's so inspiring. And I believe you will continue, even as you tell us more about the book, you will continue to tell us how this the content of your book actually relates to the topic that we are discussing today. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
The topic relates.
What was the inspiration when you were sitting down? You know, you just sitting down and writing this book, you've given so many details. I am actually amazed. You have such a great memory. You have detailed memory for everything that you went through. But I understand that it's for a reason. What gave you what inspiration did you have to actually pen down this book?
In fact, I was inspired by 2 people. The first one, as you have read the book, used to be my workmate. Seeing what I was going through, he told me, he encouraged me to write, so that it may help some people later.
And maybe just before you continue, you can just see the book, Dwelling in the Secret Place. Yes, Dwelling in the Secret Place is a book that we are discussing on the book club. Go ahead.
Thank you. I am so happy this morning. I am saved. I love God. What is in my heart is that I would like to serve God and preach Jesus and Him crucified because of what I've gone through and the love I have seen of Him taking care of me, when I was going through so much. Though I was not saved that time, but He kept me going. I thank and I'm blessing.
Yes,
I've been wishing to be in one of the stations for a very long time. And I feel great this morning that you have given me the chance. God bless you so much. As a prayer come true. Since 2014, I've been wishing to be in a station. Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance, but you have allowed me this chance.
It's true. Actually,
I'm so happy. God bless you so much.
Thank you so much, Mary and Nduta. We are so grateful. Actually, the Lord does answer prayer, and everything happens beautifully at His own right timing. So we are grateful to have you this morning. One of the very striking chapter in your book is the stroke condition, how you actually got to realize that you were dealing with a condition, and tell us more about it.
First and foremost, I had suffered so much prejudice because of my earlier life, about having married and gotten divorced.
Yes.
So many people judged me wrongly, and I wanted to put right my record.
All right.
Because I went through a lot of prejudice, a lot of things happened, especially in my workplace. I went through much because people did not know my story. Maybe if they knew my story, they could not have treated me the way they
could have understood you. Right.
They could have understood me. The other thing is that I wanted my generation to know my story, not to hear what they will be told, but to know from my heart.
Wow.
Yes. When I started writing this book, and as maybe you have read, is after I got this stroke. I used to be very active. Then I found myself all of a sudden sitting, sleeping, not even being able to wake up to sit or to do anything. And then I remembered the words of my workmate, how he had told me to write.
Yes.
I decided to write.
So actually, this is the period you decided to write the book.
This is the period I decided to write. And God gave me this title. I started writing, but over a long period of time, I used to read on the papers. People are complaining that printing a book is very expensive.
Very expensive.
Therefore, I wrote, and then I discarded the ones I had written because I did not have money to print the book.
To print the book.
Along the way, I went to US, and before I went to US, I met another lady called Wagari of Faith Food Ministries. and she encouraged me to write about my story.
Your story. Wow.
When I went to US, I met another lady who was so much interested also with my story. That is when I came back and I looked for the manuscripts. I had written earlier, but I only got one. That is when I printed the first book on 2014. Yes.
Wow, everyone's story is important.
It is important.
One of the reasons why you wrote this book is so that you can give a clear record of what you have
clear
gone
record
through.
of my life.
I'm actually reminded of what my pastor once said, that it is good to just know someone's story. Before you actually judge them by just looking at them, it's good to just draw closer. And that's what you decided. You didn't need that everyone comes close to know the story. You wrote it down so that everyone can actually understand what you had gone through.
Yes.
and how the Lord had actually saved you.
Yes.
How have you experienced the Lord throughout this time?
Sorry.
How have you walked with the Lord throughout the condition?
Yes, he
that
has
you-
been faithful. He has been faithful through and through. You mentioned about the Presbyterian.
Yes, you're
in
an
first.
alumni.
Right now, I'm in what do we call it? Pan-African. Because I still want to dig about God. I want to know more.
You want to know more
I'm
about
also
Him.
doing a course there.
Wow. We are so grateful to have
African
you.
University. Yes.
Yes.
I love God. I would like to live for Him and to do much for Him. I want to be a good steward.
Yes.
And I would encourage people to be good stewards. Whatever you come through, know God is there and He'll help you, and be courageous. You be strong and courageous.
Yes.
Because I used to go to hospital in this condition, and some doctors asked me, people in this condition go faster. How comes you are still going strong? I used to tell them, it
mean they go faster, they die.
They die first. It is my faith in God.
Yes.
And the Bible tells me that a sick man's will to live sustains him. If you lose the hope, you just go.
Wow, and that's what we were talking about. That this show is all about giving someone hope.
Yes, it's about hope.
It's all about giving hope, because I believe that someone might not be having the condition themselves, but they could have a mother, they could have a father,
A father,
who,
a friend.
yes, a friend who is dealing with a terminal illness or this kind of or
a condition like
yes.
this.
And I'm sure throughout your walk with the Lord, you have served in church, right?
I have.
Yes, you have charged, and I'm
still
sure you're
serving.
still serving in the house of the Lord.
Yes.
What can you say are some of the challenges you have experienced, and how has the Lord enabled you to overcome those challenges so that you can be effective as a minister?
It's just a matter of faith and strength in the Lord. Yes,
Having faith in the Lord.
yes, having faith.
Yes, we are
Like
talking.
recently in our church at home, a story was written about our church. There is much more I knew about the youth ministry in the church, because I was a founder member of the Christian Youth Fellowship
Wow.
those days. Therefore, I had to correct the church because we did some things which are not in the record. Yes,
So that you can give people an understanding of what the Lord did through you.
yes.
Wow, this is such a blessing. We are talking about belonging in church, and not just belonging because we have a reason to fit in. We are not fitting in. We are belonging in the house of the Lord because we believe that we are special. We believe that we are unique, and what actually is needed is what we have. That we do not have to feel like, I am amazed at some people who feel like they have to sing to actually minister in church. They have to look good like you are, so that they can be ushers in the house of the Lord. But that doesn't have to be, because we are uniquely talented by the Lord. We are uniquely gifted by the Lord. The Lord has endowed so much potential in our lives, and that is all the body needs. The body needs everyone who can acknowledge that they have potential in them and they have a contribution that they can actually make to this world. Tell us more about the last among the last chapters. You talked about how the Lord opened a door for you that you had been awaiting for a long time, to actually travel and visit your children. How have you experienced the Lord?
I had been waiting to go and see them. I had even gone to the embassy for quite a number of times without getting the visa. So one time my son told me that I'm supposed to travel at the end of the year. It was in May. All of a sudden, I fell sick. The chest, I had not been sick My chest had been clear for so many years. But around that time, it was in May, I fell sick. And between May and December, when I traveled, I had been admitted in hospital. I know that death was fighting against my travel.
Yes, you travel.
But God knew I would travel. Because in the end, even after doing so many x-rays, the doctors told me that I'm sick. I told them I'm not sick because they thought I had tuberculosis. They told me there is a scar we are seeing and we do not understand that is scar. Until one doctor asked me whether I have ever suffered pneumonia. I told I suffered pneumonia in 1993 when God saved me miraculously again.
25 years ago, almost 25 years ago.
93, yes. I told the doctor I was seriously sick in 93. Then the doctor told me pneumonia leaves a scar. So the scar we have been seeing, and that is why we did not clear you for travel. It must have been brought about by the pneumonia.
Oh my God.
Yes.
But the Lord
Finally, I was given the visa after a long struggle. Yes.
And you were able to manage to go.
I managed to go.
To visit your children.
Visit my children.
It's true. We serve a faithful
A wonderful God.
We serve a faithful God. And we are so grateful this morning that we can actually testify about that. The moment you read this book, you will be amazed. I actually held it and I could not, well, I can just say I slept very late. Just going through because you just want to read one chapter after another. It's a book full of the experiences that Mary Nduta actually went through. And she went through in her life when she was not born again, just to depict that even when you're not born again, by the way, the Lord still lives and he still has a purpose for everyone. And the beautiful thing is that there's a hymn that says, "Come as you are." You know, just come as you are, just as you are, the way you are, your past and your everything, that the Lord is able to take that, turn it around and use the test that you have gone through as a testimony. Use every mess that you have gone through as a ministry, that the Lord is able to just use everything that concerns your life to build a hope, to build a future for you. And that is what Mary Nduta is doing with this book, that she has an opportunity to actually explain to the whole world the kind of struggles she's gone through. You went through a hard time growing up, your marriage broke, and you had to kind of like take your children through life all by yourself. But the Lord was so grateful to you, and the Lord kept you.
Me, Terry.
Yes.
It's a word I never knew in my life before that time. Divorce.
Yes.
Then I found out that God hates divorce.
Yes.
That kept on ringing in my head for a very, very long time. And I felt inadequate because of that word. And I never knew it before.
It never even existed in your vocabulary.
I never even had it. Because the people, those they were not that.
Especially in African culture, we can say that one doesn't seem like it's something.
And it is the one still which was spoiling the whole thing.
Yes. Wow. Inadequate. I love that. She felt inadequate, but God is so good. God is so faithful that even when someone feels like they are inadequate, you are still used as a vessel by the Lord, because the Lord uses the inadequate to accomplish his purposes. Even at times the Lord uses the disqualified to actually, he qualifies us. Yes, he qualifies us,
yes,
and uses us for his purposes and to do amazing things. It's just amazing. It's amazing. Thank you so much, Mary Nduta. We trust that you will actually continue. And anyone who actually wants to study, let them be encouraged that it's never too late.
It was one big book, therefore another one may be coming. I have to rate
another volume.
Another volume, because it was big, then it was cut in half.
So there is still
more stories.
Yes, there's still more.
Inspirational.
Yes, inspirational.
And motivational.
Yes, and biblical in every way.
Yes,
and we are so glad. We are so glad that you have joined us this morning, and we trust and believe that everyone who has watched us actually is encouraged to continue, is encouraged to know that there is a purpose for their life, and that their lives will never be the same again. Thank you so much, Mary Nduta. We are grateful. This is Church O'Clock Show. Nelly.